At the end of the week, a stable ruble peeled off near the cave and jumped somewhere in the direction of the Venezuelan bolivar. The euro exchange rate on the Moscow Boys Exchange has overcome the mark of 90 rubles, the dollar has risen above 82, and this is only the beginning of the economic nonsense, which the population does not care about, since we are talking about physical survival, and not about the thickness of the body. Conscripts, after all, will be sent to the trenches. Of course, Min Shuiga is trying to lie that these will be easy tasks, field kitchens and something like that, not terrible, but in fact, behind the drapery of excuses is a harsh reality. 18-year-old Russians will be sent to slaughter in order to save a bald rat and its entourage. The motto of Putlomaniac, "You give birth to me, and I will kill you all." Brazilian President Luiz Silva offered to give Crimea to Russia in order to stop the war. So he cooed, like a dove. The president of Russia cannot seize the territory of Ukraine. Perhaps we will discuss Crimea, but he must think about the fact that he has invaded yet. Zelensky also cannot want everything. The world needs peace. We must find a solution. The end of the quote. It seems that Silva was talking to the Brazilian Pushilin, who recently bought real estate in this country, away from the DPR. By the way, a couple of provinces in Brazil can also shed a tear of a crocodile, and the Brazilian populist would be better off thinking in this direction. Pope Francis also shakes the laurel wreath of humility and proposes to establish a truce in Ukraine for 2 weeks from April 9th, during Easter among Catholics and Orthodox. Note: none of the peacekeepers offers to strangle Putin for the duration of the truce, to be sure. So, the armed forces of Ukraine will have to work in this direction. It is for this reason that Putin is shaking with fear in the Kremlin, afraid even to approach the newly appointed ambassadors and accept their credentials. The rat is afraid that it will be poisoned, while the Hague poison is getting stronger every day. In revenge, the frightened dictator beats in a demoniac ass shaker. The streets of Vyborg in the Leningrad region are already being smashed with might and main by mobile nuclear complexes, which, according to the plan of the Kremlin blackmailers, should frighten Finland, which joined NATO this week. On April 5 and 6, Putin again tormented Lukashenko, demanding that he be more involved in the hostilities against Ukraine. How long can you sit on 2 chairs? It's time to decide. You have already received missiles, and in general you exist at our expense. But the cunning collective farmer continues to spin somersaults in the clouds of promises, knowing full well that as soon as he enters the war for real, nothing will stop Poland from doing the same, and then he will be finished. And money and rockets from a bald animal are very welcome. As Grishka Rasputin used to say there, we take everything. The Public Opinion Foundation has turned into Kashpirovsky and Chumak in one bottle. His measurement of the mood of the Russians states the calmness of the boa constrictor. Everything is fine, stable, an empty heart beats evenly. Iskander did not flinch in his hand. Solovyev still routinely demands to hit the decision-making centers with nuclear missiles. Lyric's ashes knock on his heart. The State Duma celebrated the anniversary of Zhirinovsky's Kobzonization, and a monument to the possessed jester was unveiled at Novodevichy. Deputy Slutsky, nicknamed Lobok, promised to create a neurotheoric, so that he poured juice from the monitor and cursed all the scum and villains of the planet. Maybe it's time to send Putin to the neural network through the Kobzonari, proven over the years, until he graves the entire cave? But for the time being, completely different people are being graved, although this is quite logical and expected. The first Deputy General Director and Chief Engineer of Yakutsk-Energo, Igor Shkurko, was found dead in a pre-trial detention center in Yakutsk. After all, they had just brought him there, literally on March 31st, and he took it and deprived himself of signs of life. And the closer bald death is, the higher vertically the special harvest will take place. The system itself is not going to give up. The tax authorities send summonses to the Russians demanding proof of the legal origin of the extra money. Otherwise, citizens will be required to pay additional tax. A half-dead kitty should squeeze out a drop more. It's good that sanctions don't work. It's just that airports are closed, planes fly crookedly due to a lack of spare parts and poor maintenance, and even in the event of a magnificent funeral of the leader, there will be no one to conduct the orchestra. The conductors, the bastards, left for the hill, sensing something was wrong. Nothing, the shaman will sing and Grandfather Gundiai will wave an oil lamp in the Temple of War. And the rest, everything is fine. Have you seen the US national debt? Dollar soon, pipets. Old Biden is leading America to disaster, and in general, freedom to Trump. Truly, if God wants to punish, he deprives one of reason. The cave went completely crazy, and the war of the lunatics will be total, and they should be bombed not with nuclear weapons, but with one big haloperidol bomb.